Hi folks, I'm Craig Taylor, and as always a huge thanks for joining me here on my YouTube channel, the Bushcraft Padawan, and thank you for joining me in this week's Thursday's Thought. I've been away recently, in fact it was last week. For 6 days of last week I was away in the woods on a formal bushcraft course with Frontier Bushcraft. More on that in my next video where I go into a detailed breakdown of what we cover. But for now, just be mindful that I was away for the whole of last week, completely and utterly immersed in the subject of bushcraft. From when I woke up to when I went to sleep, I was doing something bushcrafty related, 6 entire days in the woods. And it got me thinking, about 2 or 3 days in, as is often the case when I go out for longer periods, I really got into the flow. I sort of tuned in with what was going on. Everything just became sort of dropped into a routine. And I sort of, without sounding like touchy-feely, I kind of became one with my surroundings. Sound a bit hippie-ish, don't I? But I think you know what I mean. I dialed myself into what was going on around me. And that took 2 or 3 days into the woods. That's often the case with me. But it got me thinking, I don't get out for that period of time very often. Usually when I go out, it's for a day. Maybe it's for a day and a night, or a night and a day. It's not for a long period of time. So I go out for big periods of time, infrequently. I go out for short periods of time, frequently. And clearly there are pros and cons to both. Going out for big periods of time, you can really get stuck into things, you can really get immersed in things, you can really test yourself and do some quite lengthy projects if you're out for a while. But you can't go out very often for that period of time, or I can't. Going out for a day here or a night there or a day and a night, I can do that quite frequently, and you see from my videos I do that very frequently. But you're sort of, personally, I'm kind of no sooner getting there and getting into a routine and I'm coming home again, generally speaking. The projects that I can do when I'm out there, they've got to be achievable within the space of time that I'm out there. So bigger projects don't stand a chance. And it got me thinking, what's my preference? If I could only do one or the other, if I could only go out once every 6 months but spend a week or 2 out, would I prefer to do that, or would I prefer to go out regularly but for short periods of time? And as I said, there are pros and cons to both. I think the obvious thing to say, the cliche thing would be to say, oh, I'd love to go out for long periods of time, if not as often. But actually, when I sort of think about it in more detail, the routine I've got at the moment, I think would be my preference, if I'm honest. And what makes me say that is, by going out more often, I keep my interest levels up. Other things don't get in the way. I can't let myself get distracted because I have a routine that I've got into, going out regularly. I also think as well that it's all well and good going out for long periods of time, but if your skill level when you get there is insufficient or it's degraded, then there's a sense of false security, I think, insofar that you might spend a couple of days just getting up to speed again with doing quite basic stuff, firelighting, material collection, using your knife, chopping wood, whatever. So yeah, going out for long periods of time, infrequently, great theoretically, but if half that time's being wasted getting back up to speed, I'm not sure it's that useful. However, going out more frequently but for shorter periods of time, those basic skills, the firelighting, the wood collection, the chopping, the knife work, the cooking, that kind of health and hygiene basic layer stuff, doing that all the time, that's becoming quite practiced. It's becoming second nature. So yeah, I think my preference is what I'm doing at the moment, which is go out regularly but for not very long periods of time. But what about you? Not just my Thursday's Thought video, it's yours as well. If you had to go down one route or the other, let's say for the next couple of years, you could either only go out once every 6 months, once every 4, 5, 6 months for a week for 2 years, or you could go out for a day or half a day or a day and a night every couple of weeks for the next 2 years, what would you do? Quality over quantity, what would you go for? Let me know in the comments below. as always, folks, a massive thank you for watching. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I do like these Thursday's Thought videos just because of the different responses that I get. They help shape my thinking as well. So a big thank you for those people that do regularly contribute. If you're a subscriber, mwah, big hugs to you. If you're not, come on, get a grip of your life. Click that subscribe button, you know what to do. It's my birthday coming up this weekend, so why not send me a birthday present via a subscribe? Yay, I will literally sell myself out for a subscribe for my birthday. Thank you. Like the video, share the video, comment on the video, all the usual end of video, down on my knees begging stuff. You know what to do. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll see you back in the woods very shortly. Cheers.